there's been miracle after miracle in my life, and I can't deny that.
And I'm sure you come across, especially in the early days, I'm sure you've had moments where you're just like, this can't even be real. And you're like, I can't make this up though. Like, I'm not this creative.
I love synchronicity because, yes, that's my feedback that, okay, I'm on the right path.
Hi, friends. This is James and Kara, and we are Kerouacs Cruising.
We are taking you on a journey, traveling the country with our dogs and finding remote places where the dog
And us.
can roam free and play while we discuss life's growths, beauty, and some struggles along the way.
We recommend pairing our episodes with our blog at kerouacscruising.com, where we organize accurate information in an easy-to-follow format, removing all of the conversational goodies.
The link for this episode's blog post is in the show notes.
We encourage you to join the conversation by commenting where you listen, engaging with us on Facebook or Instagram at Kerouacs Cruising, or email us at join@kerouacscruising.com.
In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Sit back and enjoy the journey.
Good morning, friends.
Thank you for joining Kerouacs Cruising. It's James and Kara here, and we are in Utah, and we have a special guest with us today.
This is Kari England. She is one of the co-authors with us in Together We Rise, and we got the opportunity to come meet her in person on our way up to Idaho. So we're in the Salt Lake City area and chatting here with Kari. So Kari, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. I am an Akashic record keeper. I'm master intuitive, and I specialize in soul retrieval and closing out cycles and karmic instances in people's lives. And so I have lived in Salt Lake City, I think, for 6 years now, and I have 5 children and 7 grandchildren and an amazing husband, and that's all very normal sounding, but then there's this other part of my life that's been really powerful to step into. So
Yeah.
And I have one question. What kind of schooling do you go to learn that stuff?
That's a good question.
There are programs out there, but mine was sort of a deep dive into just life experience. It kind of came on me all of a sudden as I was going through a divorce and some other things in my life. I'd been working on my own inner work, trying to do a lot of healing and stepping into different modalities and trying to find what would work to start to kind of come back to wholeness. And as I did that, I had a grand sort of awakening and awareness of energy and spirits and things like that. And that led me down the road to kind of a remembering, actually, of things that felt very familiar, that felt very natural for me to do. Mm-hmm. And then I was led to different mentors who eventually trained me in Akashic record keeping and that type of thing. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly from your chapter, it's not necessarily anything you were ever searching for. It found you, essentially.
Right. I was just searching for me.
Yeah.
Like I was searching for me, and I had no idea that what that entailed was that I was highly intuitive, mm-hmm. that I am deeply connected to the spirit realm, and that there are things that I can do that bridge the physical world and the spirit world that allow people to have progression in their lives. It helps them overcome blocks and traumas and things like that, and allows them to move forward in their own path. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been really empowering for me, but also I'm grateful I can bring that empowerment into other people's lives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And when you mean like people being stuck, it's like the vicious cycle. And I lived it for a while. I drank a lot after work, and I went to work, and I just would make progress in life, and I'd be doing well, and then I would fall backwards into that same path that I was in, which was a destructive path. And it was just like a vicious cycle for a while for me, for a long time growing up. And I had crazy traumas when I was younger, mm-hmm. with growing up with my family.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so
you
when
help break those.
Yeah. And
you help break those cycles.
Yes. So we would, in your case, maybe identify false belief systems that are still running, or false programs that are running that have been conditioned into you, or even, as a child, we kind of make our own stories about what's happening to us and what it means about who we are. And so we would identify those things and then shift that, and make space for a new idea, a new belief system that can help you then move forward.
Yeah, more positive, joyful, stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And closer to the truth too.
Yeah.
About who you really are.
Yeah.
I love that. So for those who don't know, you want to tell us about what Akashic Records are and what that involves?
Yeah. So in a Christian-based upbringing, the scriptures, like the Bible, talk about the book of life and how the angels record all the things about your life. And so it's similar to that. There is a belief that I hold that we are energetic and intelligent beings that have like an eternal existence. So it's a very long history of what we have experienced throughout these lifetimes. And I am able to go in and identify where things may have gotten stuck in the past and where they might be bleeding through now to the present, so that we can close those cycles out, call it good, completed, the lesson's done.
Yeah.
And so, and then allow that energy to be embodied in the person so that they can actually access that lesson that has been learned and use it, apply it in their life, and the new beliefs around that lesson go with them. So
I feel like that's the battle, right? It is, you learn all of the things, right? You want to be, we're big on self-improvement. We read all of the books. We try to put into all the practices, but the getting it to go to your core, close out the lesson. I learned it. I got the point. Universe, you can stop now. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And what I found is that the relationships that we've had during those times too might be affecting whether you've been able to really embody the lesson, because other people like to place their stories on you, and you might be identifying more with their story than you are with your own actual experience. And so that's really part of what I do, is try to clear that karmic crap out of there and restructure it so that there's flow that is in alignment with your actual divine soul blueprint. So, yeah.
And you help them find that blueprint.
I do. And I do a little what we call soul retrieval as well, because sometimes if there's been trauma in a person's life and that shuts down parts of their being, it's they can be suppressed, oppressed, repressed, that type of thing. They can actually cut parts of themselves off, reject parts of themselves based on the traumas that they've experienced, and I help them access those parts again, and we reintegrate them into their core.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Sign up for a class.
We're going to end up clients of every single one of the co-authors in this book, I swear. I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's been really powerful, and I feel very, very humbled to do what I do. Yeah.
I can't even imagine the transformations you've seen in your work.
I've seen a lot, and it's very gratifying, but at the same time, they are actually doing the work.
Yeah.
And you can come to me and I can do whatever I can do, but there's still a need for them to move.
They have to want to. They need to want it.
Practice it, apply it, recognize where they might be going, back through an old loop, because our minds are kind of a little more rigid. They're not always neuroplastic, you know what I'm saying? And so we have to also consciously make the changes as well.
Yeah. And I think that's the same with any modality of healing. You go to a doctor and you break a leg. If you don't do the physical therapy, you're going to still have issues with that. If you do the physical therapy and they told you were never really going to be able to walk again when you had knee surgery, you just have to be stubborn and make sure that you can heal. And I think it's the same thing. You have to have the willpower.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's right. So, yes, very, very fun. I love what I do, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, in a business like that, do you find your customers more on a referral basis? Because how would you average, I don't see billboards.
Yeah, I have not booked a billboard yet. In fact, I have pretty much just asked the universe to bring people to me.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's how I've found most of my people so far. But I'm understanding that that's the next step for me, is to be a little more public, a little more out there, so that I can
you don't have a choice.
Have
the
a
book comes
broader
out
base.
Tuesday.
Right? That's true.
It's coming.
Yeah, there's no hiding after that.
Yeah.
Going back. So I have been very blessed to have a lot of referrals, which also tells me that what I'm doing is
it's working.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because people are telling other people, right?
Go see this lady. Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
But yes, I think there's a way for me to help more people, and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Time to grow.
Yeah.
What, do you find it hard to manage it? Because do you do like an hour session with people? So, because you figure after 8 hours of that, you got to be just mentally drained.
Yeah. I do about an hour and a half with people. I do a variety of things. I actually hold women's circles in person. So there could be, 10, 12 people in the circle. I've tried to do virtual as well. I might do more of that just so that we can do more group work. And I just make sure that the intention is set that my Akashic committee is working with their Akashic committees. And so we're I'm not having to do the work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm using the angelic committees to help the people that are attending the circles.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah. So I bet you didn't know you had an Akashic record committee.
No, I sure did.
Well, they're writing all of this travel down. They're writing all of it down, and putting it in there, and just everything that you're learning along the way as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And we don't even know it's getting kept track of.
That's right.
So how do you find those people? Or they come to you? When you interview somebody for when you're drawing it out, them people that are recording, they're obviously universe, right? And they talk to you basically, to individual, for me personally.
Right. They would. Yeah. So if we did a session, I would clear my committee out of the way and then ask
my committee to come forward.
And then I listen. I listen to what they're telling me. I listen to the client as well. It really helps me if I can feel the frequencies and vibrations of the voice and the experiences that they're having and that type of thing. I can tell a lot from the frequencies and vibrations of what you're saying to me. And then I get little hits. And then I listen to see what I need to do next. Yeah. So.
I always wanted to go to somebody like that.
It's happening. It's happening.
Just kind of being laid at your feet.
Yes. Yeah.
Take your pick. Right?
We've been out here saying we want all of these people in our circle, and now we're being flooded with all of these beautiful people in our circle. It's just been amazing.
Yeah.
So you had come into all of this later on in life. So is this book be your first kind of out to a lot of the people in most of your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only been doing this for about 6 years, maybe even a little less than that, because I've continued to learn more about things like astrology, human design, and then what I'm really here to do with the Akashic Records. So it all came on very rapidly in a big way. And there was not a lot of interest from the people that were currently in my life about what was actually happening to me.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know how to talk about it because it just sounded so kind of weird to a lot of people that I ran with, you know what I'm saying? So not very many people actually know what the journey was and how everything transpired.
Yeah.
My children don't really know the full extent of it. My parents both passed away in the last 6 years, and they left this earth without knowing what was going on. And so this is really me kind of stepping out of the
Yeah.
proverbial closet or
Yeah.
whatever, and revealing something that has been really powerful in my life, but has been kind of difficult for me to just fully embrace and step into in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So listening to your chapter, the mothers and fathers of your kids' friends, how do they react now, 6 years later of you doing this kind of
They're
work?
all adults, right?
Her kids are adults, but I'm talking when she was younger. She probably still associates with some of those people.
Oh,
that
yeah.
the
Yeah.
parents of your friends' kids, because like all my kids' friends, I was friends with their parents. You end up just getting
Gotcha.
the close ones, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And most of my associations were with adults after I got married, were with our church group. And so we've moved quite a bit. So most of the interaction is on like Facebook or social media, that type of thing. And it's interesting because I will say things on social media that indicate these changes in my life, but I don't often get anybody actually interacting
A
with me
response.
about those things. Yeah. But they're still my friends.
Well, isn't it?
They haven't unfriended me. And so I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly, how they're receiving any of it. Right?
Well, it's just like I'd hate to say, but so many things I grew up and you just didn't talk about certain things as you were growing up in my childhood. Them things I tried to talk to about my kids to make sure they learned the things that I didn't learn growing up, because it was just things that they were just, you didn't have a conversation, you didn't ask about it, nothing. And it just seems like adults are like that. If they don't want to talk about something because it's too deep or they just really don't want to know about it, you can put anything you want on social media, they just go silent.
That's true.
It's just silent.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about like real meat and potatoes of life.
Yes. And I'm a deeply Scorpio person. So I want to talk about all the things at all the depths, and even the things that are like too taboo or whatever to talk about, which I get now that when I was younger, I've always been this really empathic person and very in tune with the spirit realm. But as a youngster, that was like too weird for my family, for my mom and dad. And so I know that we were raised in a deeply spiritual home, in a very conservative religion. And so I looked to them to kind of guide me into what was appropriate to talk about, or, and I followed their lead. And that was not something they talked about very much. I mean, we were very cautious about spiritual things. We wanted to show respect for spiritual things, which I still believe in, but I also know now that there's just way more that we don't understand in a certain context. There's a lot of parameters that maybe religion puts on spirituality, or like this is where it's okay to talk about God, and this is where it's not okay. That type of thing. And so I know that I raised my kids that way. And so now they've had to kind of rectify what they're seeing their mom experience and the things she's diving into with what I actually taught them as children. And so that's been a real challenge, and they've been so gracious, and they still love me. They still love me, but they
always will.
They're very honest with me too about like, we don't really believe that, or astrology sounds a little bit too woo or whatever, and that's fine. That I honor their paths. I know what I taught them. They're good people. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you know where you were at their age.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's been all part of this transformation, as well as that I have my identity has kind of transformed. And I have literally, like, I'm a very different person than I was 6 or 7 years ago.
10 years ago.
And so my children are having to say, who are you and what are you doing? But I've tried to also show them that I'm still their mom. I still love them. I'm still deeply committed to being loving and accepting and kind. And those are the foundational values that they were brought up with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody should be brought up
Yeah.
with, really. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they'll as time goes on, understand and be more open, I'm sure. But I'm sure what they saw you go through, as much as they did see it, they were worried for you. Like, is my mom okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was scary for them too. And I acknowledge that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's again been a ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
raising 5 kids is a ride on its own.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. It is.
That's
So, and I love them dearly, and I'm glad that they feel comfortable talking to me honestly about it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you can't get more beautiful than that. Whether they agree or understand or believe is irrelevant. The fact that they can have the conversation with you is perfect.
Yes.
Because that you can plant the seeds, they'll open their mind up to it as they have different experiences with different people. I mean, I feel like books like this and conversations like this, it's becoming less and less taboo. I feel like it's becoming more and more prominent that more and more people are waking up that this is not, this isn't this psychic on the 1-800 number line. That this is real.
Right. Well, and even science is starting to acknowledge the generational DNA impact, on people and their behavior. And I know there's been experiments done with mice that are in different parts of the world, but yet they teach them in one part of the world, and then there's some sort of frequency or vibration that connects into the universe, and then mice on another part of the world start doing the same exact thing. So
isn't that crazy?
So
they're with, I think it was mice or rats. They had one generation of rats were traumatized in one way, and 7 generations later, these mice are still reacting to the same trigger as a trauma response without the ever having had the trauma.
Right,
I mean, and there more and more studies are coming out that are showing entanglement, that are showing, just the quantum physics sides of things. It's just mind blowing. That's what shifted me. What was it? 2 years ago, I had learned about quantum physics, and I was like, whoa. Like, it just blew my mind, and I just dove headfirst into the spiritual world because I realized that it was all connected. Science was starting to show what the Buddhist tradition was saying, and what really the ancient Christian tradition was saying. Just everything really is really connected, and everything's been telling the same story for a long time.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
We've just messed it up.
I love that stuff. I'm such a geek about it.
Me too.
Yes, I get it. So, definitely. And that's what's been very interesting to me, is to see how easily I connect into that quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're all connected into it, but for whatever reason, it's very, very prominent for me. And that's why, considering there might be past, present, future things happening
right now
at the same time, or parallel lives, or those types of things, it makes it even more real for people. And I know there is some limitation, and people are going to have to accept it in whatever way they process information, or not have to, but can process it differently and come to their own conclusions about past, present, future lives, or their version of that, but the interaction that we have with those people that we have come before as well is fascinating, to find the connections we might have had with them in the past that we then maintained here present. Right? So
I heard that with even your pets can be somebody that was a friend to you or a helper with you in a past life, and they've come to support you now in this current life. It's just so magical. I just love it so much. I can't even believe that's real life.
Well, and I tend to believe that we attract those pets and people back toward us, and that's where a lot of things like contracts and
I guess it's positive or negative, isn't it?
Commitments, because even though we might bring those people back into our lives, they've still been living a different life in this present circumstance, and so they may or may not be good for you anymore. So the contracts you made before might not be for your highest good anymore. And so that's another thing that I take a look at when I'm looking in the Akashic Records, is if there needs to be something cleared, or just rewritten. Let's write up a new contract. Or, you know, with my current husband, I've studied his astrology chart and his human design chart deeply because I want to understand him. I want to relate to him in a way which benefits us, right? And what I finally learned, because he's an artist and he's such a genius artist. He's so brilliant.
So he was telling me about some of your gelato shop.
Yes,
it's just
you need to stop by on your way through Salt Lake. But I also, you know, as I was studying, I realized that we have a lot of connections, past connections with each other. But he's here to kind of live by his own rules. Like, he's not here to live by the traditional letter of the law kind of thing, right? And that includes, you know, things that we bring with us, like what we expect a relationship to look like, be like. And so I've had to sort of throw the rule book out and create a totally different kind of interaction with him.
And coming from a very conservative religion lifestyle, I imagine this has just been a whirlwind for you.
Yeah, so that's, yes. It's been a little eye-opening as well. But every time I learn something new, obviously it's fascinating, and it just it allows me to understand and accept people in all phases of life, in all situations, in all kinds of mindsets. And I've recognized that I am designed to just hold space for people without judgment. And that brings me into a better place with my clientele, because a lot of them will come to me and say, I'm really embarrassed about that I'm telling you this. I never thought I would ever share this with anybody, you know, that kind of thing. And I'll be able to say, you know what, there is no weird story here. You know, there's nothing to be ashamed of. There is no, you cannot surprise me after what I've experienced. There are like no surprises, really.
You know, it just came to me on that. So when you go do confession in Catholic and you don't see the person on the other side, she's that person.
Except you see her.
Yes. But I don't make them go do anything.
I grew up Catholic. When you were talking about that, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like that. Had to bring it up.
Well, when you consider, and that's one of the things I've been really trying to teach myself the same thing, to lose judgment. When you consider the idea that we are all consciousness trying to experience ourselves in as many ways as possible. That's all this is. It's a video game for the one source. So if that's the case, then there is no wrong way to do anything. It's the source experience itself any way that it possibly can. Right. So all you can do is be who is the best version of yourself. How do you feel most right? Are you able to love yourself the most? And that's what it comes down to, I feel like, at the end of the day.
Right. And I think that that's why I've studied so many modalities like astrology and human design, because each of them kind of touches on a different dimension of the person's divine blueprint and how their energy works in the world. Whereas, you know, like astrology is more like, oh, here's your base, right? This is your starting point. And then I'm going to show you, like, as the planets continue to circle around, how they're going to affect you. But your agency and your free will are fully intact. What you do, how you respond to all of that stimulation from the planets is completely up to you. So you get to create, right, from that base point. Whereas human design is going to teach you more about how your energy interfaces with the world and the things that are going to keep your energy at its highest potential. For instance, I'm what they call a generator. And so I'm here to do the things that light me up because I'm a battery. And when I'm not doing the things that light me up, I feel drained and I'm not great company. You know what I'm saying? After a while. I'm also a 6'2" profile. And that means, guess what? I'm a late bloomer. And that means that I'm going to, not that I haven't been learning all along, but I'm sort of like collecting.
Everything clicked in later.
Yes, I'm collecting the lessons so that after the age of 50, in like my final phase of existence here, I'm going to be able to bring all the wisdom to the forefront, and then bring that to people that might need it. And that's what 6-2s are. I used to feel so bad because I was like, why am I not getting this? Like, what is holding me back? What is going on? Now, that did drive me to seek answers, which led to my awakening, right? Yeah. But I wish I'd understood, so I wasn't so hard on myself that, oh, I'm here to gather all this great information so I can then release it a little bit later in life.
So if somebody wanted to have a session with you, how would they find you? Are you on social media, online? I got an email, phone number, stuff like that. How would they contact you?
So I do have a website, and it's my name, KariVestEngland.com. So I could spell that because Kari Vest, V as in Victor, EST, England, like the country.com.
That's easy enough.
Yeah. And you can book appointments there. You can even just book a consult if you don't, there's an option for a 20-minute consult if you don't necessarily know what you want to do or whether we're a good fit. Right. Yeah, I want to make sure that we're a good fit too. Yeah. I do believe that there are healers that are better aligned with certain people and that type of thing. I have Instagram at Sacred Soul Scribe is my Instagram handle. And then if you type in Kari Vest England into Facebook, you can find me there too.
Nice.
I have a coaching page as well as a personal page there. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we'll put all that stuff in the show notes.
Okay, cool. Very good.
So if somebody were to have sessions with you and whatever they're trying to clear, how long would you have sessions with somebody? What's the average person come see you? 6 months, a year? Or is it lifelong and they continue and they see you every 3 months for years and years?
I kind of leave it up to people to figure out what they feel is aligned with them. I have found that I can clear a lot in one session in an hour's time. But once you do that, there's usually other layers, right? So I have clients that come back to me like every 2 or 3 months, but then I also have package deals that people can come and we meet like weekly for 3 to 5 weeks, depending on what they want to do, and kind of really dig deep that way. And then we're a little more consistent in what is, in the moment coming up for them. But I honestly, I'm good if they want to go and do their own work in between sessions and they need a break for a couple months, they'll come back to me when they're ready.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so however that works, starting to do women's circles. And so that's a little new for me because we're doing the group clearings, and I haven't done quite as many online, but I've done some in Salt Lake City.
Oh, so you're meeting with a group, personal group.
Yeah. Now, I think I'm going to start, I also do shamanic work. And so I do some drum ceremonies with people, and we do shamanic journeys that way. And those can be really powerful. And I like that because then people can let their subconscious guide them into the underworld and find what they're really seeking.
It self-empowers them.
Very, very, and it's very, very personal. And so I have a desire to do more of those types of circles to lead people on those journeys so that they can find the answers that they probably already have inside of them, right?
Yeah.
And they can learn to trust their own wisdom that way, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the really cool, powerful things that's coming out of our book. When you listen to a lot of everybody's stories, everybody seems to have the same sort of path, in that, they had something kind of traumatic and they had to fight to work through it, and then they came out the other side, what we're the beautiful witness we get to see today. And so it points to we do have it within ourselves. I mean, your journey was primarily on your own, but sometimes having somebody hold your hand through it just makes it so much more bearable.
Absolutely. And I did have mentors during like the darkest parts of my journey. But there were days that I would text them or whatever, and they were like, no, we're getting that you need to kind of figure this one out. And it was terrifying, right? But at the same time, I was glad that I could at least text them.
Yeah.
But ultimate.
And like now you've got the
Yes.
reassurance that you're
Right.
okay. Somebody's
Right.
saying you're okay. You'll
Right.
get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that did require me to have more faith in the divine connection to the universe, that type of thing, and in myself and what I was receiving, and whether I had the strength to get through this, relying on that. And of course I did, and that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about how resilient we are, and that we do have the ability to access the healing we need when we need it. Yeah. There's been miracle after miracle in my life, and I can't deny that, right?
Yeah.
You can't unsee it once you see it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you come across, especially in the early days, I'm sure you've had moments where you're just like, this can't even be real. And you're like, I can't make this up though. Like, I'm not this creative.
I love synchronicity because, yes, that's my feedback that, okay, I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
This is real. I'll be talking with a client briefly before we get started, and I'm like, okay, let's see where we go. And I use a pendulum to kind of lead me through charts that I have. And we'll be taken to keywords that have everything to do with what they were just talking about. But I don't know every page in the chart book. I don't know that on page 50, the word, compassion is going to be there, right? But I'm led there. And then the word compassion is exactly what they needed at that time, right? And so that's what's fascinating to me. Yeah. Is that I'm simply open, and I'm led to whatever it is.
And you get to witness the magic of the work through yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is deeply gratifying, but also very, very humbling. And I try to make sure that I am doing what I need to do for my body and my mind and my spirit, to remain, a kind of vessel, I guess, to receive that information, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So do you find when, all of us every day, having an awakening doesn't make life easier. Like, you still have bad things that happen or things that are undesirable. Do you find that you are able to more easily flow through those? Or do you still have moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, I hate my life right this second?
That's a good question.
I still have moments. I'm still very human, right? I have a lot of emotion. I'm Scorpio, so I'm deeply emotional, right? I had to learn to set up boundaries, when I became so open, to make sure I wasn't picking up other people's emotions, right? And so I do ask myself, is this me or is this somebody else? That's a way to kind of just check in. But yeah, I still have thoughts that are not necessarily from high self. I'm still working through my own conditioning. I'm still working through my own trauma around codependency, which is what I was healing from in my life. And I still fall back into those patterns with my new husband sometimes. So for me, though, I can track the progress, because yes, I can interact on a more emotionally stable level, more emotionally, and I can hold space for people, like I said. Whereas in the days before all of this, I didn't do that very well, and there were a lot of false beliefs that were affecting me, and so I'm more able to identify quickly what's going on. And then shift. I shift very, very quickly now. Like, if there's a false belief, once I figure out the false belief, I can eliminate it, and the next morning I'll feel like a totally different person.
Weight lifted.
I love that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been finding and realizing, and then in having, conversations like this, that the healing never stops. You're always rediscovering. There's another layer. Just like you said. I think that having conversations like this again, helps you remember, and reminding yourself, always looking back. Like you can be really hard on yourself today and be like, I freaked out at that, but you look at yourself 5 years ago and you look at how far you've come. And I think, we don't want to live in the past, but I think it's important to remind ourselves how far we've come by stepping back for a moment and reevaluating. This journey is going in a forward momentum, even though every day it may not necessarily feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think everybody needs a cheerleader, and we don't cheer ourselves on enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of need for us to like look in the mirror every day and say, wow, you did that really well.
Mhm.
You know, congratulations, that really happened for you.
Yeah.
And to just be really kind to ourselves and encouraging to ourselves. I mean, I don't want us to be in a state of denial in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's important to also self-confront, but we can self-confront in a kind way. Like, oh, that wasn't great, right? Like, oh, where did that come from? And then be really curious about it and kind of wind our way back to the root. It's when we get the root that we're not going to start looping through, you know, all of it again and again in the same way. It'll come up again probably, but just in a different form. And I always see our progress more as a spiral, right? That we're
slowly going up. I like that.
But so we might retrace our steps, right, a little bit,
but from a different consciousness. Now you see that same situation from a different angle or from a different perspective.
And I just believe that the universe is on our side to figure all that out, and that one way or another we can either fight it or we can
embrace it. I definitely have found that it's easier to just let go and go with the flow, like just accept and have fun with it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
it's amazing. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I wanted to say I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much for having me on.
We are also grateful.
Yes, I thank you.
Yeah, this book has been such a blessing to meet such amazing, fabulous people, and to provide such a safe space for each of us to tell our personal stories. And I think that's why I decided to go ahead and do it. Is because I felt safe enough to finally do it. And I'm really grateful for Sylvie and Kristen and all of the authors.
Man, Kristen's pretty amazing.
So,
It's
so
been
exciting.
Super.
Thank you so much for coming.
I have one question. When's your birthday? November or late October?
November 16th. Yep.
I'm November 17th.
All right. Are we all Scorpios?
No, I'm a Cancer. I was saying you too.
I was going to say, you feel watery. Cancer. That's Cancer. You have a lot going on right now. In the heavens. Oh, yeah. Jupiter just entered Cancer. Like, all the major planets are shifting energies this year.
Well, a lot of people that like around this book and that we've been kind of touching in this more magic are like having big expansions right now, like a lot.
Well, that's Jupiter energy for sure. And the sun is like doing a Kazemi thing, and then there's going to be a new moon all right there in that Cancer family energy. I've had a lot of generational like family grandmothers like coming to me and saying we need to, and I've been like an emotional mess because I can feel their rage and the things that they've experienced from the past as women in our society, right, in our culture. And I've been working really hard to kind of heal all of that for them so that I'm not also feeling all the rage.
Fair.
My husband's not appreciating that. Anyway, but there's a lot going on in Cancer right now. So.
Well, it's got to be interesting because if you follow astrology, when you know all the when the Earth is orbiting, how everybody's moods change. So you're like, when's your birthday? This is why they're acting.
It's not me, it's you.
Do you feel better in November? Like the rest of the year?
That's funny.
That's when we shine.
That is.
I actually had November's always a good month for me.
Yeah,
actually, now that if I think about it, I'm like, actually, November's always good. That's funny.
So it's so fun to see how it all works.
It is.
Well, we are just learning about how it all works. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's been almost 3 years.
Well, it's like
we've been trying to change our mindset.
Have like dipped our toe into like information in every direction, you know, like we're like trying to become like jack of all trades but experts in none kind of
Right.
thing, you know, like
Right.
learn about as much as we possibly
We're still in the
can.
gathering stage.
Yeah, I guess
of
so.
the knowledge and the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, that
And we're
we'll
just trying to disseminate it out through our
Yes.
podcast, whatever we get super excited about, whatever lights us up.
Well, I just figure after you gather all the information, then everybody picks and chooses what they're going to use in their life to make them grow.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I look at it.
Or it finds you and
Trying to
knocks you off your ass.
figure out my own dilemmas.
Modalities.
Yeah, I try to find my own brain.
Well, that's where I love human design, because it'll tell you what your profile is, and if you're an investigator. I mean, at this point in your life, you probably know if you are an investigator, that type of thing. But it's fascinating to see how there's different aura types. Not everybody has a generator battery like I do, you know, and I didn't know that. I just thought we all kind of did the same things, right? But some here don't have a battery. They're called projectors. They're here to guide people. And there are some that are reflectors. They're just here to reflect back something about you to you, right? Yeah, so
that's kind of neat.
That is kind of neat, yeah. And then there's the manifestors who kind of like make everything happen in the world.
Oh, we have one of those in our. No, I was thinking Deidre.
Oh,
Both
Deidre
of them.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and then there's the manifesting generators who are batteries, but they're also got like their fingers in, 5 different pies at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's fascinating to see how if we all could become aligned with like how we
Who
work
we are.
best and who we are, wow, what would happen?
Yeah.
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 I do think that's slowly starting to happen more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They'll
think
try
it
to shift me.
does.
I can't get my brothers or my sister to shift not one single iota, but I do think there's a lot of shifting going on.
Yeah. Well, and definitely if you're going to do your shifting, it's going to affect
You're going to start attracting the same sort of people.
right.
Yeah.
And it'll affect, eventually it will affect
Oh, the ripple effect.
because
Yeah.
my parents have passed too.
Right.
So I only really have my brothers and sisters. And I tried to get them to move out here around me, but they like living in New Hampshire and Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And whatever makes them happy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It'll affect them. We don't know how. We don't know what they'll do with or how they'll respond to it or whatever, but definitely that's why if I'm working with a client on contracts or something like that, if I break the contracts between them and another person, they'll usually come back the next week and tell me that the other person's behavior changed completely
wow.
because they felt it energetically, something
Yeah.
shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's amazing
Yeah.
stuff.
So, yeah, very fun. Very fun. Again, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, and thanks for making the
And
trip.
thanks
out
for
here.
driving out to see us. This is how we live life.
This is beautiful.
We
This is beautiful.
last night in Canal, we just on a mountain. We had mountains all around us. I was like,
beautiful.
what a spot. And nobody. The stars at 1 a.m. So this one here,
Jules.
we usually have a dog door, Jules. She needs to pee in the middle of the night because she's that age. So at 1 o'clock last night, I go outside and I'm just like, oh my God, I almost got you up.
Grid in northern Arizona,
The
so
sky
we
was
see stars.
The Milky Way was right above me.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
oh, I don't
beautiful.
know. It was
Yeah.
cool.
We always
We love
we
it.
come through Utah a lot, and every time we pass through, we're like, we need to spend more time here. We need to spend. It's like the whole state's a dang national park.
Well,
like,
it's just
just
you like
so
in the Red
beautiful.
Rocks, then you're
It's
in the
so
mountain
beautiful.
and trees, then
But
you
it's
go
always-
back in the desert.
The beginning of our trip or the end of our trip. So we're either in a rush to get to where we're going, or we're in a rush to hurry up and get
Yeah,
home. So we
spend
never spend any
a
time
lot
in
of
this
time.
area.
And even now we're in a rush because
Yeah.
my first grandbaby's first birthday. That's why we're heading to Idaho so
That's
fast.
fun.
Yeah.
And he's grown. So we were just there for Christmas, and he's already developed and grown so much in just 6 months.
Yeah.
It's
They
crazy.
grow fast.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just,
You don't wanna miss that.
I just love that age, especially now that he's 1 to like 12 and 13, and then after that they just start.
I don't know. I loved my teenage kids.
Yeah.
I really did.
My
They were
my
so
kids were
cool.
pretty good, but it was
Yeah.
still
It's rougher. I get it.
that was the hard days.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
They start to get confident to talk back more.
Well, they just weren't as spongy as they were when they were younger.
Sure.
They're just ready to learn. Now they're like, I don't need to learn.
I know more
that
than you,
today.
Dad.
I
Yeah.
don't want to learn anything today.
Well, and they start, figuring out their own
Yeah, they're
minds,
developing.
That's it.
They develop.
what they might really want to experiment with, or how they might want to think about something. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's pretty cool.
I love it.
Oh, I think it's amazing, and I just want to be around the grandbaby.
Well,
Brings
I'm
me
glad you're
joy.
going. I'm glad you're going. So
Oh, we probably have put our house up in Arizona, and we're going to make home base near my son.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, we're actually we're
Kevin and
moving
Sylvia
up there.
selling
in the
a
process
house.
of
We're
moving up
bringing
there.
stuff, so we're just going to find some land and stuff, whatever.
Very cool.
So we'll be looking for property while we're up there. I just want to be around up there.
Nice.
And they've been asking us for 5 years.
Yeah.
To move.
It's a little cooler up there too, isn't it?
The temperatures are
She doesn't
actually
want the
very
winters.
similar to what we have in northern Arizona up at the Grand Canyon region. They just don't have the temperature swings that we have in the desert. We'll have like a 40 degrees. Well, you guys get the same here, 40 degree swim from day to night. But they get a lot more snow, a lot more precipitation, and it's much shorter days in the winter months, and it's like cloudy the whole winter. And I've lived in Arizona since I was 10, so
that will be hard.
Yeah. So the plan is to head south for the winters and be in the warmer temperatures and sunshine and all that jazz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So
This has been fun.
Yeah. Thanks
It's
for the
fantastic,
food,
really.
Thanks for tuning in to Kerouacs Cruising.
We're thrilled to have you with us.
We had a blast recording this episode and hope you enjoyed our adventures as much as we enjoyed sharing them.
For more amazing pictures and stories, visit our website and blog at KerouacsCruising.com.
And join the conversation on Facebook at Kerouacs Cruising or email us at join@KerouacsCruising.com.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review.
Your support helps us reach more listeners and allows us to continue sharing our travel experiences with you.
It's a generous favor that means the world to us.
Thank you so much for listening to Kerouacs Cruising.
Until next time, happy travels.